Hello and good evening, y'all, and welcome to the
The truth
Truth Behind
behind
the
the
Truth
truth.
episode of What the Hell is Going On?
Mm,
Yeah,
what is going
what
on these
the hell is
days?
going on? Because I'm telling you, something different each and every day to challenge your mind, your heart, your spirit, your butt, your cheeks, your something is going on each and every day in this country,
A
and
lot going on.
it is
A
not
lot.
and not even reflecting, for the first time in life, I think that we are being represented as fools around the world. Not us on the show, but the country and the leadership. It is bad. And I don't use the term bad. It really is. It really is. But we want to welcome you guys before we dig in tonight and have a great time tonight in the conversation. If you're passing through on Instagram, we're back on Instagram. We figured it out, guys. So you can see us and not in individual split screen. So we figured that out. We got that together. Took a minute. But you have to work with cameras. If you're in the industry, you understand what we're talking about. All right. Brother Charles, how you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Did it come out? Is it having problems?
You there? Okay.
I hope we not. To be honest with you, this Wi-Fi business is something serious these days.
It is. It is.
It's just a serious situation. I don't know what it is. Even it's like we're living out here in the country, even though we're living within the city limits.
Yeah.
Ain't that something else? It does kind of remind you of when we had I don't know how well it's been a while, let's just say it was a long time ago, many moons ago. Remember when internet was just starting up and you had to get the dial up, and you had the big old satellite dish, even if you was at a home and it was planted next door somewhere. But it just feels like Wi-Fi is kind of bringing that back to the fact that it's becoming more of a hassle these days to have good Wi-Fi.
Yeah, it's not just Wi-Fi. It's the cell phones too, because notice your calls are dropping a lot more.
Yeah, that's true too.
And you know why, don't you? Trump changed the FCC, got rid of the folks in the FCC. He brought the and all that. Yeah, a lot of this stuff we used to depend on, the disease. More people are getting sick on these Carnival cruises now because we don't have inspectors anymore. He got rid of a lot of them. He downsized and raised all this stuff he's spending on, but he got rid of folks thinking he's saving money.
It's affecting our jobs too, because to be honest with you, a lot of our department stores, our grocery stores, everything relies on the Wi-Fi to keep everything going and running in these stores. Yep. So it's like, when systems are down, it's because of the freaking Wi-Fi.
Yep.
And that is the situation that is like really troubling at times, because it's just one of those things that like I said, we're living in the freaking city. We are out here in middle of LA almost, and the Wi-Fi is just
right. Yeah,
it's terrible.
We left one company and went to another and was expecting it, and literally the what is it, the router is right here in the room. It's right here in the studio with us, and it's still doing it. So I think it's probably they tapping in now, seeing who talking about that idiot.
Oh, I can believe that. There is nothing, there's nothing underneath this sun that is like really just an imaginary thought. Right. I think it's real, like this Epstein situation.
Right.
People been talking about this for many, many, many years about the situation with child trafficking and rich people doing all types of dirty stuff behind the scenes, and now all of a sudden it's out in the open. And what's so funny? Why are they covering up the names of these people?
Right. Absolutely.
Why is the government covering up the evidence? Absolutely. Why they won't let us see what it's all about, Charles? Absolutely. What do you think?
He's coughing.
Not that time.
Yeah, I had to mute. I had to sneeze. This is the hypocrisy of it all. When they first bring those type of documents in, they're already redacted. So there needed to be no more redacting. There's a form they fill out, from my understanding, when they first submit those paperwork that redacts all that information. They not only did they not redact the people that are involved, but they put out the pictures of the victims and the sexual prowess that was going on.
Right.
But no cover of the face, no blurring. They put all that straight out there, but they covered up Trump's name and they covered up other people's names.
Right.
And then, from my understanding, whoever the blonde chick,
Bondi.
Yeah, Bondi. She had the nerve to say today, if we prosecuted everybody that's in the Epstein list, the whole infrastructure would fall apart for the country.
Yeah, I was just reading that off my Facebook algorithm. It's right here on my Facebook algorithm. This post somebody posted said, you know what, that is troubling. That's troubling. But even the royal family put out a statement about it, and their uncle was part, and Charles was part of it too. I don't know why they want to say
Charles was part of it.
Also, so we ain't talking about Charles. We ain't talking about you, Charles. We're talking about. Let me just make this clear. King Charles knew what the hell was going on on Epstein Island. But let me just say this though. To be honest with you, they put out a statement saying that they were going to pray for the victims. This is Prince William and the new future king and queen. King and Queen of England, they're putting out a statement that we're going to just focus and pray on for the victims.
Wow. Okay.
This is some troubling times right now because you know what? To be honest with you, we're starting to see what we didn't want to see. Now, if you don't want to really see it, you are living in I call it willful. You're living in willful ignorance, not wanting to know and not wanting to see the truth for what it really is.
Right.
And I think it's sad that some people want to think that this is just water underneath the bridge. This ain't water underneath the bridge. This is some powerful information.
Right. I mean, it really is. I mean, truthfully, at the end of the day, it really is. I think my thing, and I say it to conversations that I have about this all the time. It's twofold here. I don't mean it's like I'm confused. Number one is that I don't understand why these people keep trying to defend this man from doing anything. This man never does anything.
For years, he hasn't been doing anything. For years, he hasn't.
Oh, yeah, he hasn't done anything.
And not just that sarcastic.
Right. No. And and then there were videos that somebody sent me about the rebuttal, unfortunately, from Black America that was defending or saying that things were allegedly wrong, and then trying to prove this man's case. I don't even think these people prove that much to the people in their own family, And it's just like everybody wants to prove that this man. I'm like Whoopi Goldberg. This man has done nothing. How can you possibly feel like somebody is squeaky clean, even if they are white like that? How can you do that? I mean, it's not even in the realm of human possibility, for you to insist that this man or try to prove him that he hasn't done anything. First of all, the man was married 3 times, working on 4 when she leave him. Okay. And 4 different relationship, killed the wife, allegedly, all right, pushed her down the steps, buried her on a golf course so he didn't have to pay taxes. Okay, but y'all think that's okay? Yep. Oh, let me remember. I'm building on a point here. You can take it over. You think that's okay? You lie in front of people 24,000 times when you sat before the American people. That's okay. That's okay. Then you are caught making accusations on a bus with a guy that got from Access Hollywood that got fired because of the conversation he had with you about you grabbing women's punani's. So that doesn't tell you that he could not be in any pedophilia opportunities. Really? Okay, and then my last point you go over to. So then there was this guy. Okay, on some front, I was going to show the video, but I was like, I don't give credence to somebody that ain't talking, and that was right. But so he says that one of the redacted photos that came out from the Epstein files was showing Trump with all these young girls around him. Okay, they of course they redact out the faces. He says, well, they redact out the faces to make that look like it was kids. It was actually Miss America contestant that was around him at the time. Okay, well, good. You just opened up a little Pandora's box. Okay, he bankrupted the Miss America pageant. Okay, well, let me finish. Okay, hold on. You rewind. He bankrupted the Miss America pageant. He also, I have to say, allegedly, he was touching the contestants. Check your facts, boy, before you put your stuff out there and try to defend something. See, you get up there and say stuff you ain't got no business saying, which is not the truth, but yet I'm going to sail into this, but you allow that clown to put derogatory things up about the greatest president and the greatest first lady that will ever hit the Americans, and that I'm on this side. You know what I mean? And then we'll get into that in just a few minutes during our Black History Month. But go ahead with your point.
No, I was about to say I don't think it was Miss America.
Yeah, he on Miss America.
It was. I don't think it was Miss America.
Miss Universe, one of them.
It was Miss. I think Miss Universe, but Miss USA.
Okay,
but because they're different. Those are different situations,
right?
Because to be honest with you, the legitimate one is Miss America. That's just how it is.
Okay,
and you got that other stuff. But to be honest with you, the goalpost is always going to be moved. I'm sorry, the goalpost in this situation has been moved for countless people other than Trump. You got Charlie Sheen out there still doing dirty deeds,
right?
And he hasn't been held accountable for spreading all types of HIV and diseases.
Right.
And he's writing a book about it.
Right.
So at the end of the day, and you got other people out there still doing dirty deeds, and they're not called into account.
Right.
So, with Trump, but these people making excuses for Trump ain't the only one in this dancery who is still getting away with dirt. Allegedly, Clarence Thomas has been doing some dirty deeds,
right.
And he hasn't been held to an account, nor has his wife. And they have, and the saddest thing about that situation is he's part of the Supreme Court.
Right.
And that in itself is a troubling situation for a lot of us who have to live in this average life of living. But if we are doing something that is out of the norm,
right.
Charles, do you agree or disagree? Chime on in.
Uh-huh.
But if us, the average American, is doing something that is not of the norm, that is not of the law, guess what we are doing?
Being held accountable.
Mm-hmm. Going to court over a small little minor ticket, paying back certain tickets over either expired licenses and all type of stuff. And these folks are just getting away with crap. Right. And each and every day they get away with a lot of stuff that we cannot get away with. And we think that shit is right. And now I don't get it. What'd you say, Charles?
It's a two-tier justice system. But this is something I found out today, too, that amazed me. Talking to some people. Wow, I learned a lot today. People say they follow Trump because they are Christians first, Black people second. Their nationality or their race doesn't matter because God is first. I heard that today and I went, whoa, and I heard it a couple of times. They're going, we don't follow the norm. We don't follow those sinners on the left. We don't deal with the what did she say? I'm trying to remember what this lady said. We don't follow the crowd. We don't join the sinners on the left who agree with hedonism. That's what she said, who agree with hedonism. And that's why they go Republican. And I said, whoa. And they are true conservatives. I said, and I saw it on a few videos where he goes, we are Christians first, Black people second. And that's why we go conservatives. I said, whoa.
Let them believe that, Charles. I really want them to really believe that. And I'm being honest. I want them to believe that. Because honestly, with this skin color, you ain't even got to be Christian. You ain't got to be anything because you still, in the eyes of white Christian nationalism, you still a sin. No. You're a curse.
Yeah.
I don't get why we tend to forget that in this European Christian ideology, that this Black skin has always been our burden. Yeah. Regardless of who God you serve, this Black skin ain't gonna never go nowhere, and you won't ever be as lily white, as Christian as they will want you to be. And this is going to hurt a lot of people's feelings, especially if you are Black and Christian. But I think we tend to forget that the reasons why we were held in slavery for so long within these United States of America, because white folks for many years believed that they had the right to keep us in bondage because of the story of Noah And who was his black son? Ham. Remember the Ham? Okay, now the Wi-Fi acting up because now we having Christian Bible studies on a Wednesday. You see how the Wi-Fi acting stupid because we having Bible studies right now. But remember when Ham looked into that tent and saw Noah naked and drunk,
engaged in some other activity,
and engaged in some other crazy activities. You know, we were, because of the fact that he had this skin tone, we were considered a curse because of it.
Yep.
And it gave them the right to keep us in bondage because they thought they were doing thus said the Lord by doing this to us, doing because of this to us, lynching us, doing whatever they thought was right because of the story of Ham and Noah. And I don't understand why black folks don't want to believe that. You can keep believing, but in these United States of America, you're going to have to understand that they didn't just go in there and bomb churches for no reason and kill 4 black girls for no reason. They were making a point. And those were Christian men that did that, planted dynamite in that Birmingham church. They were Christian Klansmen who did that for. I don't understand what hey, let them believe it. Let them believe it.
I get you.
Let them believe it.
Well, you know,
delusion is a gift. Delusion is a grand gift. I just say do what you will with that.
Sometimes too much studying makes you stupid. Okay, seriously, because your analogies of life becomes a textbook, okay? And then because your life becomes a textbook, you don't have any room for the true interpretation of what it should be because it has to be very factual.
I'm just gonna keep rubbing this skin.
Okay,
I'm gonna keep talking. I'm gonna keep rubbing this skin because this don't rub off.
But let me finish.
I'm gonna let you finish your point, but this don't rub off if you're Christian or Muslim. This don't rub off for nobody. I'm just saying.
I understand that. But it's a deeper issue than necessarily than what appears to be, because there had to be a groundwork to create that separatism in the understanding that. So you had to be told that you were nothing. You had to be told that you weren't from something. You had to be felt like you were less than, and then you were that. It was just so happened that God recognized you. You had to be told all of that, okay? And it premise to moving forward into the things that we've experienced. And like we have a video talking about that, you know, in a little bit, you know, in the explaining of who we are. I am the I am, and how even the fact of the declaration that came from Moses and knowing all this, how we have just been bamboozled out of knowing how we are or who we are, or being of the great I am that makes us the I ams of life. But we're going to get into that in a little bit. All right. Let's go ahead and move it forward. We're going to run to a quick commercial break. Then we're going to come back and talk about our Black History Month because it's really deep, you know, about that. We're going to celebrate a lot of controversial young man to me and Charles, but and what has happened with him. But I am inspired from his accomplishments, and he is making a part of Black excellence that's in life today. So we'll run to our commercial break and we'll come back to our Black History Month real quick.
Yep. Are you all frozen? You are frozen.
There we go. Just trying to get your hand there. All right. So I know, right? So, you know, we here on The Truth Behind the Truth, we really have taken the time, taking the turn 6 years ago, and then we went away from saying Black history because this is Black excellence. Okay. And yes, it makes up the history of America, but it's not. The excellence is celebrated throughout the entire year after year after year after year. Okay. Some of us, just be glad that they gave us a month. Okay. Okay. I don't want to get into that tonight because that to me, that's accepting Juneteenth too. But anyway, you know how I feel about that. you know. Well. So, but anyway, we're going to go ahead and get into celebrating the Black excellence of this month. We're going to let this video share a little bit about Tyler Perry and his accomplishments in the Atlanta area. You know, as well. How all of that, there still is the need for looking at his accomplishment, you know, and what he has done for humanity, and even in the community where his studio has been built. So let's take a listen. He's our celebrated this week for Black Excellence.
I recently heard something about Tyler Perry that was so unbelievable and so shocking, and I think people should know about it. And this has nothing to do with his movies or his TV shows. So in 2015, Tyler bought over 300 acres of property and he built Tyler Perry Studios in Atlanta. Since then, property tax in the area has risen considerably, which has a dramatic effect on the seniors in that community. And a lot of the seniors are facing displacement because they simply can't afford the property tax anymore. So here's where Tyler comes into play. He swoops in and donates $2.7 million to pay all the back taxes, but then he also freezes to prevent future tax hikes. So now hundreds of seniors are able to stay in their homes, all thanks to Tyler Perry. Now that's dope enough in itself, but then it gets even better. So Tyler holds a senior hour at 44 different Kroger locations across the Atlanta area, where seniors can come in, buy any and everything that they need from the grocery store for 1 hour, and Tyler picks up the bill. All these seniors come in and they get whatever they need. They're so full of gratitude. They're so full of joy, all thanks to Tyler Perry. This is incredible to me. And I think these are the types of things that people should be known for. Big shout out to Tyler Perry for being so kind, for being so generous. And in my opinion, this is the best benefit of having this type of wealth, to be able to create such an impact in other people's lives. This was real dope to me.
All right, go ahead.
You know what's even when another example is Janet Jackson opened a free hospital, supposedly.
Yes.
That's the word I've been getting. But the key to it is when you have that type of wealth, you can't take it with you. I don't understand why you're not out helping people. Or I know there's some lazy folks out there. I got into an argument. It was an argument, went in a debate with somebody about how people want to help. Some people have to have help. Everybody's not a lazy butt. Everybody black, and I get this too. Everybody black is not on welfare, and welfare is not basically black. It's majority white. I don't know why people keep getting this thing twisted. Just like I don't want to go to the Bad Bunny thing, but I got Puerto Rican friends who are reaching out to me talking about black people ain't standing up for you. Weren't there when we was going through civil rights. You weren't there and a lot of other stuff. So now you want somebody to stand up for you. And the only reason it's not that we don't empathize, it's because we're the first to get shot. We're the first to get beaten. When they couldn't find nobody to beat, what did they do? They beat white folks. They had to find somebody. They took a long time. But when you go to Black Lives Matter rallies and marches, they were snatching people out of streets, busting in their cars. It don't matter. But nobody seems to get that because they all got this thing. Slavery was so long ago. It was 400 years of it, though. I don't give a damn if it was 400 years ago. It was 400 years of slavery. Well, Jews didn't go through 400 years of that stuff. They went through maybe 50, 60 years. They didn't go through all that. And it wasn't even that long. It was small. The Native Americans went through it pretty much closest to us. About 70 years. They went through what they went through. But 400 years. And I keep trying to explain to people, stop telling me slavery was so long ago. Black people want this. Yeah, we're how do I put this? We're mixed up. And yeah, we're conflicted. We're battling each other in certain circumstances. But my thing is, stop worrying about what black people don't do. When you aren't doing anything, the Puerto Ricans ain't doing it. The Jews aren't coming in and helping us. Now, I ain't gonna say that's everybody, but there's some help in different places. But stop making all black people want to be. Black people always think it's a black thing. It is. They were snatching us out of cars. They were shooting us on the street and getting away with it. They were doing all this crazy stuff before now. Before they did it to the Hispanics. And nobody said a damn word. Oh, they always complaining. They think everybody's against them. And now it's happening to somebody else, and they go, where you at? Well, same place you were when it was happening to us. Standing on the sidelines going, well, they'll figure it out.
You know what? When people bring up that argument, all I can do is bring up the voting poll. And 85% voted for Kamala of us, blacks 85% of blacks voted for Kamala, not Kamala, Kamala, while 13% of blacks did not vote or just voted for the other side. But everybody else, they dropped the ball. They dropped the ball. That's why we're not out there anymore. And I'm beginning to, I hear that too sometimes. And I'm like saying to myself, well, I mean, you want to be close proximity to whiteness.
Yeah, Venezuelans, Dominicans,
and you thought that this man was going to give you adequate wealth and jobs, more opportunity. That was the big deal with this man. That if we voted for him, he would give us more jobs. He would take less away from. Let's just say this. He was going to bring down grocery, bring down gas, bring all this down on the first day of him stroking that pen or striking the pen, whatever you want to call it.
Stroking the ball like him.
But I always bring that up when somebody brings up some other crap about the fact that y'all are not out there doing what y'all said y'all were going to do. No, we did enough. Black folks didn't doing enough for a long time for this country to rise itself up to being better than what it was created to be, because it was never on its best leg when it started. We were always the one pushing this country towards its greatness, but they always seem to have pushed back on us for the simple fact of speaking out and speaking up. 85% of Black Americans voted for Kamala Harris. Everybody else voted for the other whatever. Right. So
a lot of folks set out.
Don't give me that argument talking about why y'all not out here in these streets. We did at the ballot enough to let y'all know where we were trying to take this country. I'm just saying.
I vote for Mr. Trump. I vote for Mr. Trump. I vote for Mr. Trump. And then he's snatching their family and taking them up out of here.
And let's just keep in mind, because we got to go and finish this other point about this. But let's just keep in mind the house that he's destroying was made and built by Black people.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind. Don't forget that. Don't forget that, people. The house he's destroying was built by Black people. We haven't done anything. We haven't done anything. Anyway, so along in the lines of this, of the high level of disrespect coming from somebody and supporting, I know I started to get into this, before we went to this quick break, but this is, and they are the most amazing couple I've ever seen. And next to my parents, of course, I have to get shout to my my parents, right? But and my mama and my aunties and everybody would probably say, "Look, I'll take the back seat at the moment because you're talking about the first Black man who ever, became president." So they gladly take it. I'm sure Mama Charles, Mama McIntyre said the same thing. I'll take a back seat for this one. But Barack and Michelle, or I want to say President Barack and First Lady Michelle Obama, will forever be branded in our hearts as the most classiest, most dignified, the most excellent, the upstanding pride. If any accolade that I can keep adding to that, they are representation, not were, but are representation of that. Before, during, and long after the administration has passed on, right? 8 years out. Was 8 years not even ago? Yeah, a little over 8 years ago. Still number one in the country. And that fool hates it. He hates the fact that this man has risen to the occasion that he thinks that he should be in.
He ain't the only one.
On that stage and being able to do it, to the degree that he will lie and say that he put their heads on monkey bodies, and posted it. All right, to me, that was probably the lowest piece of shit that he could ever do. At the end of the day, realistically, I'm just gonna be straight up. Y'all saying it that way. I'm not cussing about their mom. I'm cussing about that fool. I hope, and maybe to come across that we get a chance to even sit on Michelle Obama's podcast, or either have President Obama be on the Truth Behind the Truth, because I admire their dignity. I admire everything that they represent before the camera and behind the camera. People have tried to put their marriage as being broken up. They tried to say that he was a part of the LGBTQ community. He says that all this shit that ain't necessary. accept and love the people for what they did for you. Now, the last point about this, and then you can make your point about it, because it's still in our Black History Moment. To the degree that there was this other video that went out on the other side of the idiot side, trying to say that Obama cut off this for Black people, cut off that. I can go back into research because I heard it myself. All right. It's amazing how you get so patriotically Black at an opportunity when you're trying to be patriotically white. Okay, go ahead. You can take it from there.
And that is the truth. But what's so crazy about this situation?
And that was Black people saying that.
I know that's Black history of Black people saying that, but self-hating Black folks, I can't stand them. But you know how this goalpost I keep saying is always being moved. We have RFK Jr. who is going to war on processed food, right? Y'all remember when Michelle Obama was having this big campaign about serving healthy foods to children, and that fool Sarah Palin from Alaska was talking about, well, I don't want Michelle Obama telling my children what she or he should be eating and all this other stuff. And now you got RFK Jr. talking about he's at war with processed food. This woman was growing a garden in the backyard of the White House to prove a point. And that alone was infringing on their right to eat whatever the hell they want to eat. Now you got people right now who are telling us to our faces, remember what that woman said? A piece of broccoli and a tortilla shell and a piece of chicken.
That's enough for the human being.
Where's Sarah Palin these days? Where are these people these days? I don't know. Where are these at? Where are they? It's just like, I remember those years of watching CNN and them always having some shit to say. Even Marsha Blackburn came out of the cave the other day talking about Miss Jackson from the Supreme Court. What's her name?
Oh,
Ketanji. She came out of the cave. Marsha Blackburn from Tennessee.
Oh, okay.
Because I haven't heard from her in years.
Oh, well.
I haven't heard nothing from her. Nothing about the Epstein's files. Nothing about nothing. But this woman going to the Grammys because she was nominated had a lot to get.
Oh yeah. She was on The View today.
Like I'm saying, these people full of shit. I'm like the goalpost is always going to be moved because it fits the narrative of what
they're talking about at the moment.
That's what'd you say, Charles?
It's on wheels. The goalpost is on wheels. They're rolling it around. It don't.
It
ain't planned. It's rolling.
Yeah, I know, right? Just ask the Patriots; they know.
That's the truth. That's the truth.
They know it was on pretty much. But good point about that. So, in the same vein that we're discussing right now, of course, Governor Westmoreland has been in the news for just being the right man. But I consider I don't know anything about the gentleman other than what I've heard in the news. But it seems like he's an upstanding man of excellence, and it's a great point of mentioning him as being one of the few and only Black governors. But this is what he had to deal with this week about that.
We have 50 governors in the United States. There's only one that's Black, and all of a sudden, this White House decides to uninvite Governor Wes Moore to the National Governors Association meeting that's held annually. And oh, by the way, he's the chair. He's the fucking chair now.
From your perspective, why are you being excluded from this dinner?
Because he's a racist son of a bitch. That's why.
It's not lost on me that I'm the only Black governor in this country.
You're saying that he's excluding you because of the color of your skin?
Yep.
I can't speak to the president's intent.
I can.
It's not lost on me that I'm the only Black governor in this country. I'm never in a room because of someone's benevolence nor kindness. I'm not in a room because of a social experiment. I'm in the room because I belong there, and the room was incomplete until I got there.
Damn Skippy.
And he's actually the co-chair. He's not the chair. He's the co-chair because they have a Republican.
I have to concur. With him. Huh?
Say he's the co-chair. He's the co-chair. He's not the chair. He's the co-chair. They have a Republican and a Democrat as chairs.
Okay.
Wow.
You know, first of all, let me just jump on Dana Bash real quick. You know, and I know that was sound bites. You know, I mean, clipped by the gentleman that does it. He's actually one of the actors on Tyler Perry's show. But Black, what is it? Black is King. Black is somebody. Somebody black. You know the show. But you know, I don't like the way Dana Bash asked that question. You know, and you know, me myself, and being a fan of Governor Westmoreland, because I'm hoping that at some point he decides to run for president. You know, that I've never seen her ask questions like that. And again, it could be the way the soundbite was cut, you know, to bring out his other points. So I don't want to fully say that it was incorrect, but I've just never. She was very, in my opinion, from where it came across, it was very impartial. She was very kind of condescending, you know, in her delivery of it. And I've just never, because she's always been very congenial in all of her conversations as a reporter. But, you know, who knows? He may be on her butt too anyway. But what was your quick point about that?
No, but, you know, he ain't the only one black that's been pushed out of certain meetings.
Yeah.
You know, the John Boyd Jr., who is president of the National Black Farmers Association, he spoke on MSNBC the other day to Katie Turner and said they were pushed out as well out of the meetings in the White House for farmers all across the United States.
They were corporate farmers is what they were basically catering to.
Mm-hmm. They said they were moving away from DEI and small farmer issues.
Wow.
And they were focusing on low-scale white farmers and corporate farmers, just like Charles said, because they produce the most food.
They can't help it because they get help. They get subsidized. That's why they do it. They get help with money. Black farmers have been fighting for years. They just get subsidies. They're not even getting that. They're fighting on one leg where everybody else is getting help, subsidies, assistance, everything.
What's inside?
He's offended right now.
And that's the other part, bro. That's the part that bothers me. It ain't start, so it can't stop when it ain't started. But the sad part is everybody thinks black people are complaining because they black. No, they're complaining because it's wrong. It's not a matter of black or white, it's wrong. Period. But they were only doing it to black people. And everybody keeps saying they always want to have, how come everything's racial? That's why it's racial. Stevie Wonder can see it's racial. He ain't gotta even know he's black to see this is against black folks.
He said he can see it.
This thing called mainstream, anything likes to live in willful, delusional ignorance.
I want you to say what you said a minute ago in the document that you just read. Did you say low-skilled white farmers?
No.
No. I'm driving on a point while you say you said low-skilled white farmers.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all let that marinate real quick. we cycle want to say something like that. Y'all let that marinate real quick. Okay, let me be clear. Okay, today, we're in the month of Black History, so you may hear a lot of stuff about Black people this month. Okay, no pun intended. Just listen for the truth behind the truth of what's being said. Okay,
but let me also add this while you go any further. They said they even told him he may come back in a couple years and revisit the farmers of color issue, but right now they were moving away from it. They told him
they've never been there. They've never even been there. He's moving away. He was never there.
Wow. Wow. Okay, we got to move on. So Jasmine articulates everything that we're talking about today, and one of her grab time from the reporters that she came out of the meeting, what did they do today? Hearings that she did today. Just take a listen.
Took place today, and basically Ghislaine was like, I'm not going to participate, but we're not going to stop. You know, there were those that thought we would stop when we were able to get the discharge petition done. There were those that thought we were going to stop when it didn't seem like we had the votes once we finally got that done. I mean, the House Speaker shut the House down so that we would not go there, right? And now that they have violated the law, because this is actually in law, we are not stopping. So I want people to understand that House Democrats, we are going to be on their asses. Like, that's just the reality.
And what is your message to President Trump in that case?
Same thing. We're going to be on his ass. I mean, you know, it is so, I don't really know where we are in this country. Why are we even having this conversation? The United States is falling apart right now, partially because he's going out and randomly allowing for the killings of people in the middle of the street. But the other part of it is that we have a 34-count convicted felon, and there are people that are still shielding him from any type of accountability as it relates to a child sex trafficking ring. It is time to take the blinders off. Like, I don't understand why we are pretending like any of this is normal. And I think that that is the level of frustration that so many people are bringing, whether you're a Democrat, Republican, or independent, specifically to the Epstein file situation. Because right now we know that they were willing to try to throw the Clintons in prison for not showing up, yet they won't even allow us to bring other people into committee who we know are mentioned in these files and mentioned so much more. When we went through the hearing as relates to the Clintons, I said, listen, we know that Donald Trump's name is mentioned more. Bring him in too. Like, I'm not saying that this should be partisan. This should be whoever. I want to be clear about that. This, for the Democrats, this isn't partisanship. This is about right versus wrong.
Go ahead.
I'll raise my hand like they do in church, because this is a question. This is not even a question. This is really, I'm so irritated by this, because this Black woman is putting her face out there.
Yes, she is.
And I think this is not. This right here is the prime example when people want to tell us we ain't been doing enough. This is enough, because this Black woman is doing more than what her counterparts are not doing enough of. And I think that is an abomination right there, because this woman is on this battlefield, it seemed like, on her own, and making it known that she is doing the good fight. She is doing whatever it takes to make this fight happen. But you know what's really going to have to happen, honestly? And I don't care how it hurts, because it might affect me or you or whoever. Jobs will have to be lost for Americans to really wake up, because it's still business as usual. People are still going on with their daily lives, not even thinking how much this is going to affect us down the road. And it's sad though to watch, because I know we are all sitting here watching this go down. And we're trying to figure out how to process this stuff, but it's very unnerving, and it's like, oh my God, when are we going to realize? And are we even ready to make this switch up? Are we ready to get these Republicans out? Because they're not going to do no regardless. They ain't got to do no work. She just said that the speaker ain't doing shit. Right. And do you think he has to do anything at this point? Because they have the backing of the executive branch. The legislative branch ain't got to do nothing, because the Republicans hold that fort down. Yeah. So this Black woman is the only person out here doing the work. And I don't see nobody else.
You know what? I disagree with that. There's some other folks. There are other folks out there doing that, and there's quite a few Black women that are out there doing that. The problem is what I tried to explain to someone today, is that the media picks and chooses. They don't give you everybody and everything. They're only going to give you but so much. And the only reason they're doing Jasmine Crockett is because we're on her side. So they feel like in order to keep us on the show or looking at it or paying attention, they'll show us sometimes. But they don't show everybody that's in there. There's so many Black folks in Congress that have stood up and spoke on this stuff and said things about it, but they don't show them. Those people don't get no airtime. The media is controlled by those billionaires. They bought stakes in all the media companies. They even got the doggone social media locked down. They are always on top of this stuff. They're not letting us get our word out. There are people out there doing the work.
But my issue with this is, and this might be a Democratic issue or a Democrat issue. My issue is with all of this money and all of this backing. Why is it that they're not making it more of a bigger campaign, not to show only Crockett, but to get everybody on board with this messaging? When is it that? Why is it that they are not pushing this harder? What now? at our look, you know, in our face. Why can't we see a little bit more of a spectrum of all Democrats? Why haven't they not really campaigned?
They have.
Why? I'm just question. My thing is, why is it that we're having to see Crockett? Why is this media only showing her face when there are a bunch of people out here talking this talk? And I think honestly, and this is me, I mean, this is just me. I feel like they're trying in their own little way to make her almost enemy number one when it boils down to this Democrat campaign. I think they are doing a disservice to this woman, making her the only speaker out of everybody that could be speaking on this. But I think they're making her enemy number one. It's like they're putting this pin spot on this woman's forehead and say that she should be the voice because she has to be the voice and the target for the I'm just saying the bombardment from the Republicans and then the MAGA folks. I just feel like this is the situation.
That's the problem. That's not the truth. That's the problem. This is the where you're losing it at. And you're like most folks, you think that's how it's set up, but they control the media. If you look at Roland Martin, if you look at Joy Reid, if you look at any of those shows, you'll see all of the black folks is out there talking. There's a bunch of them. You just only get to see what they let you see. And you can't blame the Democrats because that's not their power. They don't own radio stations. They don't own TV stations. They don't own all that. It's mostly Republicans and the conservatives. So they control the narrative. You got to stop saying we ain't helping. There's a lot of hell. I'll be out there doing and talking, but nobody has my face on TV. I'm active in the sex trafficking thing. I deal with nonprofits down here, but you don't see my face out there. You don't see people talking to me. No. They don't talk to anybody that has something to do with it. They pick one person and let that person shine, but nobody else gets any airtime, any radio time, no publicity at all. It's not that we're not, it's just who's controlling the game. The goalpost moves. We and just said that.
Problem. Well, I think that's a problem though. But to be honest with you, writing letters like Schumer, you're writing letters.
Schumer needs to retire.
What's the point in writing? And he ain't the only one writing letters. But it's just that's my issue out of all of this. It's like it's like, come on. She cannot be and I'm just saying, okay, that's all I'm seeing. That's all I'm seeing. But go ahead. I mean, that's all I'm seeing right now. It's Crockett.
There's a couple of points about that. Okay, I have to kind of integrate Whoopi Goldberg into this every day on The View that she's on. As community have to take responsibility, okay? And Jasmine Crockett out here as being some sort of a key point to be able to reference back. Where is the people? It typically, if it's affecting Black people, it's affecting Hispanic and Native American, and the Caucasian community that's on board for a better America. Where are we?
Okay.
Where are we? Okay, because now even in the sound clip that I just played, or we just played on the show, that sound clip is available for everybody that's out there. That's on a social media base that can get tied, and they can search what we've put out there and go back and find that particular clip and put it on their social media base. They can become a voice in a sector of people that are, they use social media for everything else. I mean, we got women, men beating up women on social media now. And I don't even want to get into that.
That's free speech.
Oh, okay.
That's considered free speech.
Excuse me. Okay, well then let's let our free speech be used to propel something to the front run. This kind of backs up what Charles is saying. And the point is that we don't have the major newsworthy focus unless it's something shocking. Okay, let's just use Savannah Guthrie and how she has dominated the media. Number one, this is not throwing any shade against her and the loss of her mother, if that is the case. But what Savannah going through in the loss of her mother, what's that happened to somebody else that happened the other day? What about the children that have been lost for years? You know, what about the girls right here in LA got snatched out of their apartments? Didn't find, but they found them, you know, dead. You know, later on, you know, right here in LA, we got a little bit of news media about it, and you know, and that was it. But Savannah's murder has been a national endeavor.
Almost like Lindbergh's baby, but keep
okay. Yeah, it's been national. Yeah. Okay, I mean, Newsman, today they even stopped and did a national report, break-in report during the show as an update as to what was happening with this woman. Okay, again, no reflection on the loss, no reflection on, but there is, and like Charles said, and like you're saying, that there is a message that is being projected to the American people in this case. Okay, who, I'm not devaluing this woman. I didn't know nothing about this woman. Okay, I know nothing about Savannah other than that she works on NBC. Okay, at the end of the day, and whatever she does, you know, at that particular point, you know, at that point, I was disappointed in the fact of that what happened to her mama. But I'm gonna say, like I said earlier, and allegedly, I think it's an inside job.
Oh, can I share something with you right quick?
Yes, sir.
With all these topics we talked about, I'm gonna share something with you that I participate in advocacy for. This right here, approximately 90,000 to over 97,000 Black women and girls are reported missing annually in the United States, according to the National Crime Information Center. Do we hear about that? No, nope. We don't.
Nope. You know, I did the voiceover for Charles in one of his productions, you know, on human trafficking and the things that are going on in that aspect. So, you know,
Little John's son went missing, and they just found him in the pond dead somewhere.
You know, I mean, now it's somebody dear to us. Okay, that she doesn't even talk about it that much, but Carolyn. And if she's watching, you know, occasionally I like, you know, to bring up, Carolyn lost her daughter that same way. She got kidnapped and found her dead. Didn't know how her daughter, and God bless Tanya. I know Tanya. Found her. She had been dead for weeks. Found her body thrown off somewhere. You know? So is it fair? Is it right? Absolutely not. Like we started out the show in the beginning. What in the hell is going on? Okay? What in the hell is going on? I ain't talking about no fiery pit. Okay. Anyway, I'm sorry. I ain't gonna go down that road right now. But if we're not as I'm gonna refer back to Whoopi again, if we're not stopping and taking pause of our personal responsibility and our assessment, we want to complain. We want to say what somebody else is not doing. But what are we doing? What are we doing? Even if, like you said, Charles, even, and I know I do, and I know you do, even in our daily walks through everywhere we are, and we're not striking up a conversation, an innocent conversation to draw attention to injustice, we're doing just as much injustice.
Yep.
Okay? There's no justice about it. I promise you, those of you that pass by the show, those that stop and take the time to watch the show, those that will see the show later on, you ask yourself the question, what are you doing? What are you doing to change the vocal one? What are you not in Congress like Jasmine Crockett is, but yet you can be a voice for Jasmine Crockett. You know, you can be a voice for all these other type of things. You can be a voice for these victims that are the Epstein situation. You can get in the fact to say that this situation is going on. These girls are not even in the Epstein files that are going through this. Okay, so we got to take responsibility for the whole totality of what's going on. And one of the things I love about when Jasmine comes to the front, now she'll speak her Black platform, but she's also focusing in on how dealing with the totality of the problem, you know, and we've got to focus in on the totality. That's like she said, it's not bipartisan, that's not partisan, that's just the aspect of human beings. And
let me share a clip with you that should be shocking with a lot of folks, because this makes no sense that we, like I said, nobody gets the information, and that's what bothers me the most is we don't get to see the information. Here we go. Man.
Out of Maple Grove. This is the most disturbing arrest that we've had here. Mr. Rashad Johnson, out of Maple Grove. This is the most disturbing arrest that we've had here. He is a backgrounder for ICE, Homeland Security, and federal agencies. So when you're getting your security clearance, this is one of the guys that does your backgrounds, which is kind of scary. So we locked him up. And I think if you're going to be, these people get access, they get a high security clearance, right? Because again, for all the ICE agents, Homeland Security agents, and people getting security clearance, this is one of the people that does the backgrounds. And you come here trying to purchase sex. We locked him up. I don't think he's going to be passing a background check no time soon. Jonathan Flores, 20. Mr. Rashad Johnson.
The problem is he was helping them. He was scanning and telling them where to go.
Repeat that one more time, Charles.
He's the guy that interviews those people and tell them in ICE that they can be in ICE and give them the jobs. But he was running a sex trafficking ring with ICE. So when they snatching people off the street, you tell them what you wanted, and they make sure that those people, those I guess Johns, get who they want.
You know what's so awful about this situation, and like I keep saying, the goalpost is always being moved.
But it's even more than
it's always moved, and you know what? To a lot of people, that's not even a criminal. That's not a criminal. So that is we just talked about Trump. That's not a criminal. You keep asking this question, why do people make excuses for people? Because they're not the idea of, they're not the face of what criminality looks like in this country. I also gave y'all a Black History moment of the reason why people will hold people oppressed and in bondage for many, many years. This skin tone, and those Black folks who want to believe that I'm Christian first instead of and not, and you know, and Black second, whatever they want to believe, they better wake up. But that is the situation. That's the goalpost. That man, to a lot of people, is not a criminal, but he did. But criminal acts. He did criminal acts. He does criminal acts. He does criminal acts. Right. But that's not the face of a criminal of this country. It's just that boggles my spirit, though. It does.
No, I mean, I
it does.
You know, and if it doesn't, then something wrong. Not you, but I'm just saying it's something wrong. But you know, I'm going to try to equate this into these last two clips because we got to bring this to a close.
We got to talk about Bad Bunny, but keep going.
The idea here, okay, now church folk, I'm coming after you right now, okay. You all waste so much freaking time on trying to put people in a fictitious hell. Okay, you want to tell somebody about their burning. If they hadn't accepted Jesus on your terms, and you keep throwing all of these innuendos into society, but you allow bullshit to keep going by. And then you want to smooth it over with scripture. Y'all need to wake up. And y'all need to get your butts out of sitting in somebody's church, listening to BS, and get your ass out on the street and make a change. Okay, go out and turn over some tables out in the street. Turn some tables in situations like Jesus would do. Okay, I'm serious. I'm putting the blame on y'all because y'all all always come with this Christian narrative about this is a Christian country and this shouldn't be, and this shouldn't be. You're running your mouth on stuff that you have no clarity and understanding about. But just like Charles presented me, you got Christian folk talking about they part of ICE. They doing the Christian thing. You got Christian people saying that what's his name got shot in the street. What did you do? What did you do? Now, if you get offended by what I'm saying, I ain't sorry. Too bad. Okay, this is a call to action on every human being. Religion has nothing to do with it, but it does have something to do with it because you make it about religion. Go within. Use the power within that we've been created to be. Okay, we are the I ams. And I'd be doggone it, I will not hesitate to tell people that they are a part of the great I am. If I have the opportunity to rip it out of each one of y'all church folks' mouth to get people strong enough to deal with the conflict that's out here in society. If your God is that big, then let him be that big. You don't have to prove nothing for him. You just show up, show the love, keep your mouth closed, and he'll do the rest if he has to do anything else. But guess what? The responsibility is on you. And it ain't coming about you separating people, all good and the bad and the da-da-da-da. Because guess what? Most of y'all fall right in the middle. And we ain't bring up nothing that's going on in your sector of the world right now. We just talking about outside of it. So put the blame on you. But here's the thing. Take the blame off of you by going with inside of you and making the correction inside of you so that you can be the corrective force out of society. You know, this, I apologize for jumping around, but, you know, then I'm going to play this video. Michael Jackson has been in the news so much in this past, I don't know what, 6 months, you know, as I say, and people are coming back. Christian folk and everybody was coming back and saying, I apologize. I didn't listen to what this man was trying to tell us. I didn't listen to what the words that were coming out of his mouth. You know, I had a video I was going to play tonight, but that's okay. We'll do it. As a matter of fact, we'll make him be our Black Excellence celebration next week. We'll play.
Bullshit. But
what?
Keep going.
What's right?
It's bullshit.
What?
It's absolute bullshit. I'm just saying. I'm just bullshit. They finally they apologize about it.
Okay.
The man is in the grave, but keep going. I mean, it's absolute bullshit at the end of the day.
Well, but that's not.
I know I know people are, you know, but it's bullshit because you know how I feel about this situation.
Well, yeah, but anyway, so
and I'm a fan. I'm just saying I'm a fan. But the fact that people are now coming to the conclusion that this man was innocent and they should be a part. Okay, fine.
But no, that wasn't where I was going.
I know.
I
just think it's bullshit.
But that was my point. But my point is that to identify the responsibility as we have as human beings, and people come to the table with that responsibility, it's sometimes extremely too late, beyond it.
Always too late.
Okay, way too late.
Too little and too late.
But even in being too late, sometimes you're on time, because if you take the opportunity to change the narrative of where the thought pattern where people are, then it becomes a lot more. At least the next generation could see something to it, and this generation where we are right now has simply accepted a different narrative of Michael. But we're not talking about Michael right now. We're going back to the responsibility of us in totality, and realizing and going back into the place of who we are, should be going within to find out who we are. But anyway, so here we go. Listen to Javon.
Well, if God only existed once, that means I am had an expiration date. But as far as I can tell, my friend, I still am. If God is outside existence, then God would still need existence to exist to stand outside of anything. Existence is still a relationship to being. You cannot stand outside of existence unless it already exists. And it will always be interesting to me how when language is not wrapped in scripture, many of you lose the ability to articulate the meaning, even when the substance is well, if God only existed once, that means I am had an expiration date. But as far as I can tell, my friend, I still am. If God is outside existence, then God would still need existence to exist to stand outside of anything. Existence is still a relationship to being. You cannot stand outside of existence unless it already exists. And it will always be interesting to me how when language is not wrapped in scripture, many of you lose the ability to articulate the meaning, even when the substance is identical. Look at your boy Moses in this text. The text does not ask what God does. He does not ask where God is. He asks, what is his name? That matters. God does not answer with a title, a role, a relationship to creation. The answer is what? I am that I am. That is not a noun. That is not an object. That is not a being inside of existence. But you all say the Bible is the word of God. So if the text meant God is a source outside of existence, this was the perfect moment to say it. If the text meant God exists somewhere else, this was the perfect moment to explain it. If the text meant God is an entity that creates beings, this would have been the perfect moment to define it. But it doesn't. Oh yeah, and if your rebuttal requires you to replace ideas that this text never states, you're no longer quoting passage, you're trying to replace it. But let me give you perspective. God isn't something that exists inside reality. Reality is what exists inside what points to I am. If reality itself is what I am points to, then God couldn't have lived once and disappeared. The problem is this idolatry that you all have to Jesus. You guys are so fixated on his body that you can't embody his message. His story wasn't saying, oh, worship me. It was literally teaching you what the embodiment of I am means. And I am well aware that most people will never understand the concept of I am because they were conditioned to believe they need to close their eyes, bow their heads, get on their knees, and ask, may I?
Well, to be honest with you, I want to go ahead and get into Bad Bunny's performance because
Well, we need to finish that point.
Well, that point is we talked enough about God already, and but the point is on point. He said a lot in that commentary, and to be honest with you, I always say people going to believe what they want to believe, but at the end of the day, you can only go about doing what is best for your spiritual truth. That's all I'm going to say about that. That's all I can get off about that.
Charles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm gonna do it this way.
About stuff like that too.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it like this. We're always, and I think I've said this a few times. We are always looking for someone to hold our accountability or attribute our accountability to. We're never in it. I know we're perfectly flawed, but man, sometimes you got to stand on your own too. And you got to hold your chest, say it with your chest. This is what I'm doing. This is me. And when it don't go right, say it with your chest again. Hey, I was wrong. I need to make an amends or do something different. But it just seems that we're too busy looking for somebody to hold on to, somebody's apron to hold, or somebody's arm to be in the class with ours. We just can't do things because of the necessity or the morality of it. We just won't do it. I don't know why.
Do you know how much things would change if we would just accept the responsibility of what he just said, go within and identify with the I am? Because you know from that particular point in time that everything that comes out of you, every effort that comes out of you will be a reflection of the I am, and it will be done not imperfect, but in a perfect manner. Mm-hmm. That's why Adam had the control or the control to name everything that he did, and everything that he named, God said it was good. But see, you don't want to believe that you're Adam. But anyway, we're going to go on. All right, so I teach you that tonight. Go ahead with your next point, we'll transfer to Bunny.
Yeah, but did y'all even see the halftime show?
I did.
What did y'all think about it?
I thought it was
entertaining. Yeah, I thought it was entertaining. He did what I call
so funny that a lot of people who say, "Well, why did he do the whole entire thing in Spanish?" I thought we were a multilingual type of country. I thought that was
English-speaking country. We're English-speaking country only.
Well, I thought
the president said we're English-speaking only.
Well, the people who say we are multilingual are the ones who are saying that we are only English speaking. I say that, to be honest with you, there's always some BS. But the funny part about this whole entire situation is that the man who was so dead against this halftime show ended up watching the halftime show instead of watching the Turning Point performance. Mm-hmm. I think that was so. What was the point of you now trolling the performance? And it wasn't for you. You had your own performance with Turning Point, but you ended up watching that performance. That's the only thing I have.
he turned to the true point. But go ahead.
But that's what I don't understand, Charles. I don't get it. I don't understand how somebody could hate a performance but end up watching a performance that you hate when you have your own performance on the other side and you ain't tuned into that. If I was those performers at Turning Point who did all of that just to stand up for what America is based on, and my president didn't even watch my performance.
Yeah.
Come on now. Make it make sense. Well, but to each his own.
But you're trying to make things with him make sense.
I know it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense at all.
Living in America.
I didn't know what he was talking about. But then on top of that, in every high school within these United States, Spanish is an elective.
Right.
German is an elective. French is an elective. I would thought most Americans, other than myself, I thought they would have known what he was talking about.
Wait. Now you're going too far.
I thought that
you're going too far because we thought the government was a class.
Civics.
We thought civics was a class, and that's not even.
It tells you how bad our education system has gotten.
Yeah.
I suppose. I mean, we are not cracked up what we thought we were in the world. Every other nation they learn different languages. You go to Africa, they know English, French, they know Portuguese. You go to Europe, they know a bunch of languages, but when you get over here, we are only English-speaking country.
And don't do that very well.
And we don't do that very well. Even Professor Higgins would have told you that.
Yes, he did. Yes, he would have. All right, we're going to bring it back. We're going to bring it in. So leaving you a word of encouragement, to, meditate on, with our dear motivational speaker. He always drops the great nuggets to leave you guys with going into the remaining week. But go within, okay? Please go within, okay? I understand that some of y'all are just so fixated in your religious perspectives that you don't even understand the fact of the word I am and how that integrates in your life on an everyday basis, and you don't even pay attention to how you declare that every time you open your mouth and declare who you are. You're still saying that I am. You don't ever, you still say it. It's been programmed into you by the I am so that you can recognize that you are the I am. But anyway, here's your motivation for the week.
Something you have to understand also too about this thing that we call manifestation. Your desires, your goals cannot stand desperation. So when you're desperate and I need this to happen and when is it going to happen? You have this attachment. It's like, no. So here's a saying that'll help you to remember. I need to let go. Those who need it the most will have it the least. And those who need it the least will have it the most. This is the paradox when it comes to you creating and manifesting something in your life. Oh, I can let go of it because I don't need it anymore because I know I'm enough without it. And at that moment, you are moving in the same frequency as the version of you who already has it, because the version of you who already has it doesn't need it because it already has it. And that's how you manifest something.
I can't even say any more than that.
Mm-hmm.
It's echoed exactly where the whole scenario of tonight has gone. Some of you may have thought, well, they went here. We went in different areas, and it kind of apropos for the show. What in the hell is going on? Mm-hmm. But in the midst of that, you can find out what in the hell was going on. You know what I mean? And you have to push yourself through the stuff, okay, to find your place and understand that you are enough. You are I am. And every time that you open your mouth to declare what you are, even your name's sake, you put the I am in it. Mm. So those of you that say that, everybody on this planet gives acknowledgement to their creator in one way or the other. Mm. And it doesn't mean that they're bound for a turning fire because they didn't turn your direction. Every time and it's been by design Isn't that beautiful? It's by design that every time you make a declaration of who you are, you say what? I am. All right. Y'all have a beautiful week. Thank you for tuning into the truth behind the truth, where we know we are I am. And we live in the I am. Okay. And we're going to continue to move forward in the I am. You know, because I am, he is, we are, we all are, I am. Have a beautiful week. Love y'all. Thank you for tuning into what? The truth behind the truth. Good night.